And welcome everybody once again. This is this return edition here of the Mass Steel Podcast. Well, of course, yours truly, Charles Prodigy Richey, as we're getting ready to recap free agency so far and what else to look for in this year's 2023 draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. So far, it's looking like a veteran squad so far for the black and gold, as they have made some noticeable signings and some key losses along the way, which we'll discuss in a few moments. But I tell you what, though, right now, the Steelers for right now, as we look at, definitely ain't afraid to be spending some money on some quite veteran savvy players. I mean, one of the guys that seems to feature that steps out, that catches the eye the most is, of course, Patrick Pearson, former Cardinal and Viking. We'll get to him in just a moment. But I mean, pretty much right now, when you look at it, who will be turning 33 this year. And you look at the average age of the signing so far, the Steelers have gotten, they're pretty much in their late 20s so far right now. And I got to tell you, I mean, just the additions they have on here, definitely turning into a veteran squad, but you got to really believe right now. I mean, is it fair to say that this season is all in? Knowing what they saw in Kenny Pickett being one of the first rookies in NFL history who was able to get two game-winning drives and back-to-back fourth quarter comebacks. I mean, in NFL as a quarterback who became the first rookie quarterback in NFL history to engineer a game-winning touchdown pass in the final minute of the fourth quarter in back-to-back games, first ever rookie. So you gotta believe right there. And with the Steelers finishing, of course, too, 9-8. I mean, this past season. I mean, you gotta really believe there's a lot of excitement in the air right now with this team. Everything that's been put on them. I mean, of course, it's been a frustrating year, but I mean, all in all, I mean, Mike Tomlin avoided another losing season. He still maintains above 500. I mean, this was a 16 game season. More likely, this 9-8 would translate into 8 victories as opposed to 9. But here we are. This is what it is. Omar Khan, who remember when he got hired a year ago, I mean, just saying what he was saying about doing things the Steeler way. I mean, basically trying to keep it similarly. I mean, when you think about everything and just everything, I mean, since he's been taken over for a guy who's been at it for 22 seasons, of course, Kevin Colbert, who's been around for a long while. And when we look at it, I mean, it's definitely very interesting right now. I mean, just which has been going on here. But I mean, for the most part, I mean, he is definitely a guy. I mean, Omar Khan a year ago, he said, I am ready for this challenge and grateful to continue the success we have had on the field during my first 21 years. I look to completing our football ops staff and working tirelessly to build another championship football team for Steeler Nation. I mean, and it's just been incredible. I mean, for what he also said. I mean, it's just, I mean, get ready to really take a look right now with him and Andy Weidel, how they'll have this team under their scope and what they'll be able to do for the moment. And Omar Khan right now, who is the 8th Steelers GM in team history. I mean, right now, and we'll see what he does. I mean, Colbert, who hired him back as a scout in Detroit, now he's going to really be judged real quickly. I mean, this year with his own team. I mean, going forward, and we'll see. But I will tell you this for right now. I mean, he definitely right now has got a lot of work to do. He definitely mentioned when he got hired last year, May, that there's not going to be a lot of change in how the Steelers did things from a front office perspective. And but at the same time, too, I remember too. I mean, they're still a little optimistic about possibly being open to being a little tad aggressive in the draft. I mean, this year, and we shall see about that. And let's get into some of the key losses too by the Steelers, which was last week. I mean, basically, they cut Miles Jack right there. I mean, he didn't seem like to be a guy that was making splash plays for the Steelers. I mean, which is a shame because I really like the guy, to be honest with you. I mean, but the part is, I mean, they really expected this guy to be an impact player too. When you look at a guy like Miles Jack, he did lead the team in tackles. Yes, he only had 3 tackles for loss, a quarterback hit, but he was not able to force turnovers or making interceptions and forcing fumble. Because if you look at his career right there, he was able to do that when he was with his 6 seasons in Jacksonville, basically. And for him to try and do what he did this year, I mean, for this team, definitely a little disappointment to say the least. And Miles Jack, I really felt like right there disappointing signing. Looking back at it, I mean, I thought he did his job tackling, but of course, there's got to be a lot more to it for them right there. So, I mean, Miles Jack. I mean, at the end of the day, it was fun for a year, but I mean, at the same time, too, right now, I mean, they're gonna be tabbed with a $3.25 million cap hit and saved about $8 million in cap space. He was a good contributor when healthy, but he battled nagging injuries late, including a groin injury that limited his mobility. According to Jerry Dulac, Miles Jack's troublesome knee injuries, along with his $8 million salary and $11.2 million salary cap hit in 2023, made him expendable, according to sources from the Steelers. I mean, he only started 13 games and led his team in tackles with 104. Cameron Wolf of NFL Network reported also too last week that uh, linebacker uh, Elandon Roberts, he for this year was signing with the team a 2-year deal. And his deal, Landon Roberts, he had a 2-year deal, 7 million, 3.5 million per average, with 2.335 guaranteed. He'll only be accounting for over $2.3 million cap hit this year. I mean, coming in. And you look at too. I mean, which also about the question, Devin Bush. Devin Bush, now remember, they did not pick up his 5th-year option when the Steelers moved up 10 spots to draft him 4 years ago. And here we go. He's with the Seattle Seahawks right now. He is a loss, not really much of an impact player. I guess almost a lot of people will view this guy, fair to say or not, as a bust. I mean, he signs a 1-year, $3.5 million deal with the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, Bush was just not been the same since his injury. I mean, he started off a firestorm in his rookie season, 109 tackles. But then ever since then, when he was fully healthy, he was just not really the same guy, to be honest with you. I mean, the most he could do, like tackling wise, and where he started 14 out of 17 games last year, he had only 81 tackles for the year, too. And if you look at a guy like Devin Bush, too, I mean, he was kind of like in the doghouse, really think about it. Remember, he started, I mean, basically all 14 games up until the Carolina Panthers game. The rest of the way, the final 3 games of the season, he did not start. He was basically coming off the bench. So that was a telltale sign, too. Not that they did not pick up his 5th-year option, but him not starting the final 3 games against teams like the Raiders, the Ravens, and the Browns was definitely very telling in that game right there. And see what was just happening right there. I mean, the Steelers right there, I mean, who were able to just keep their season alive, believe it or not, after being 2-6 to a playoff team somehow, possibly with some help. And you had all right there for everything that was just going on with this team. And Cam Sutton too. He's another one too. That's gonna be another loss. I feel. I mean, if you're looking at the Steelers' losses so far in free agency, I mean, right now, Cam Sutton, him going to the Detroit Lions where Kevin Colbert was feeling pretty good about their situation about re-signing him. He signs a 3-year, $33 million deal with the Detroit Lions right there. I mean, 11 on average, 22.5 million total guaranteed. And then Sutton, I mean, who's definitely been a solid nickel corner for this team, drafted 94th overall in the 2017 NFL draft in the third round. He has been remarkable for this team. Now, granted, he has not shaped up into a Pro Bowler, but I mean, these nickel sub packages. I mean, he had his career high of interceptions this year with 3. The last 2 years, he was heating up. He had 2 in 2021 and 3 this past season. I mean, he also had a career high with 15 pass deflections right there. So, I mean, I would love to see him maintain in the black and gold, but I mean, young man, go get that money. I mean, right now. I mean, which begs the question right now. I mean, we look at some of the top prospects in this draft. There are plenty of quarterbacks available. I would not be surprised if it's either going to be a corner, defensive end, or tackle, to be honest with you, or maybe wide receiver too. I mean, people are looking to, I mean, Jordan Addison. I mean, would that be the team? But I tell you what, I mean, definitely tackles on the edge. And we'll come back to that a little bit later on. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. What do you think Steel Nation has been the most bitter loss this year? That's gonna be a tough pill to swallow. I mean, would you say right now, and I'll pull a poll up, would you say it would be Cam Sutton signing with the Detroit Lions, Robert Spillane going with the Vegas Raiders? I mean, and that's all I can think of. I mean, not really Malik Reed or Devin Bush. I mean, I'd probably say those two. Which one hurts the most so far right now? I would definitely put the money right now. If you're to ask me, I probably have to say Cam Sutton. That one's gonna be probably a little bit more painful going into this season right there. But then again, right now too, you do need offense to compete. But I would try and focus on a tackle right now if they could get one best available too. Basically. And another thing is too, Josina Harrison mentioned too, Steelers have preliminary interest in bringing back edge rusher Bud Dupree if they deem he's healthy, according to a source. Dupree's name has definitely come up in Pitt. We'll see if they end up together once he sorts out his market following his release from Tennessee. That's going to be a real interesting one right there. I mean, Bud Dupree right there, who has not been able to stay healthy due to injuries right there, and also had like his was heating up in his performance in his final 2 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers right there. I mean, he was making a nice tandem. I mean, of course, with TJ Watt. I mean, he had 11 and a half sacks in 2019 and then 8 in 2020 before he went on to sign his 5-year deal of $82.5 million with a 16 million signing bonus, 33.75 million total guaranteed for this one. And that I'll definitely want to like keep an eye out for right there because but the interesting thing is right now with a guy like Alex Smith heating up, Alex Smith seems to be definitely opening it up, wanting to come back. I mean, basically, and he definitely made a hit returning. Basically, according to Ramon Foster, right there, uh, Ramon Foster, the Bud Dupree received a text message from Ramon Foster during his live show, and the response left many believe he's headed back to the bird. And when Foster asked Dupree if he's coming back to Pittsburgh, he left 2 emojis with a shh and a smile, a smiley face, and a shh right there. And I gotta be honest with you, I mean that's I would not be ruling that one out. Still a little wait and see right there. But even if he does come back, I mean, is he gonna even stay be part of the 53-man roster where everything shakes out? But Dupree, I would love to have him back. I think he's definitely fits within the system. Just remember too, you're going to be having a new defensive coordinator right now. I mean, with this team. I mean, when you look at everything, I mean, with the Steelers, I mean, as you Look at, I mean, you're going to be having Terrell Austin right there, and Brian Flores has moved on right now. So I would like to think right now there's some familiarity. I mean, there ain't no Keith Butler anymore, but I mean, I thought he did well under Keith right there. I mean, having played the guy, and he was just definitely a real good guy. And Bud Dupree, I mean, who definitely just missed out on playing with Dick LeBeau, came in that following season after he was let go. So we'll wait and see on that. Now, right now, too, let's go into some other stuff. Patrick Pearson, right now, former eight-time Pro Bowl quarterback and three-time All-Pro, signed a two-year contract per source report Adam Schefter. He'll be 33 this season right there. His number, he was toying with the idea of wearing number 7 since that was a number he wore when he was in high school, but he's got number 20 as confirmed by Proof Prior. That was at the end of last week. Pearson says Kenny Pickett is a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. Game recognizes greats, no greats. Listen to the man. According to Pro Football Reference, Pearson, by the way, he has allowed pass ratings of 78.6 and 79.7 in his coverage the past 2 seasons in Minnesota. He had 6 interceptions and 20 PBUs in that period. He'll be entering his 11th season. And when being asked about being a fan of Mike T, teams have been prepared to play any given football team, even if they outmatched on paper. He's going to have his team prepared to fight. Now, listen, I love the veteran presence they're having in here. I mean, right now, so far in free agency, I mean, when you look at some of the new additions right there, too, Cole Holcomb, who definitely seems to be excited coming over from Washington, wanted to be part of the Steelers with the terrible towels right there. You also got Nate Herbig at guard right there coming from the New York Jets. And then you also got Landon Roberts. I got to tell you right now, my only concern is, like I said, this is more like a veteran team right now. I mean, pretty much going into their late 20s. It's very surprising, too. I mean, when they would usually sign younger people, as they would. And my thoughts right now, I'm thinking right now they're buying into their mindset that they're viewing themselves as a Super Bowl team. It's still ways to go. I think there'll definitely be a playoff contending team this year, definitely so. But Super Bowl, I don't know. But I mean, these moves would definitely clearly indicate. I mean, if you were to ask me, that they ain't waiting around. They believe they could get back in this. I mean, they got a guy with Kenny Pickett. See how Franco Harris does rebounding from his injury too, by the way. And then also, I mean, with your backup at your running position too for this year. I mean, Jalen Warren. I mean, who did a solid job this year. He had 379 yards. Now he had better yards on average, but I mean, of course, Najee Harris was still the guy. He still managed to rush for over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. I mean, and then also too for he led the team in touchdowns altogether in scrimmage with 7 running and 3 caught. At the end of the day, Najee's still the guy right there. I wonder how much Jalen Ward's workload is going to pick up this year to kind of help assist with that. Now, back to Alex Highsmith on the reunion of Bud Dupree. He said if it were to happen, that would definitely be a three-headed monster for sure. Where he was here, my locker was actually right next to his, so that was pretty cool. Him and TJ, both of them were just very helpful in bringing me up my rookie year and just helped me to get better. Even when he went down my rookie year with his injury, he was still encouraging me and telling me things and meaning and stuff like that. End quote. So once again, your thoughts. How would you grade this free agency period so far as we lead into the draft? I mean, a scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna go ahead right now. I'm gonna have to give this a B minus. I'm not gonna give it a C, but I think a B minus is fair right now. I, I'm still a little skeptic with some of the aging players. But then again, I mean, how much of these guys will end up being cut right there too? I mean, and usually like way a lot of these contracts too are like set up too. I mean, depending what the max is, usually like around like that last year would usually be the option where they'll probably cut ties. And with them, a lot of these tutor contracts is usually the the first year plus the option in general cases, such as Patrick Pearson. Leave me your thoughts. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at MassSteelCGR and on Instagram at MassSteelNation. Let's go ahead and wrap this up real quick. Now, Bob Papiani, I mentioned that the Steelers have brought in many inside offensive line pieces the last 2 years. Guards, center, more guards. He tends to believe more players that can provide edge protection for Kenny Pickett, which I totally agree with. I mean, Kenny Pickett still's got a way to go in the pass game, but to do what he was doing back to back games in the final minute of the fourth quarter, you got to keep this guy a little bit cleaner. He got 27, he got sacked 27 times. I mean, basically, and you can imagine the quarterback hits he endured along the way. But just three fourth quarter comebacks and four game winning drives. Pretty remarkable start for his rookie career to get going. Now, I mean, the only thing definitely to work on too is just throwing a little bit better under pressure. He had 7 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Definitely a concern right there. Still had a solid passing percentage as the season went on, 63% of his passes. Now he only, I mean, started 12 out of 13 games. And if you give him a few more games, he's definitely on target for like about a little over 3,000 yards passing for the season. And I will definitely feel that. But Kenny Pickett, I definitely feel like he's the future. So time to tell how he does in year number two. But here are the five tackle prospects that go in the first round. There, you got like five projected to go this year, with 9 being the top 100. And we're going to go over two of them today. Once again, I believe I said this in my last podcast, but look at Spear Skoronski of Northwest, 6.73 year one starter. He spent his college years manning the quarterback's blindside tackle, but the body type and skill set are begging for a move to guard, where he can play his best football as a pro. He's broad across his upper and lower body, but he has short arms. Skoronski plays with a deft blend of technique, feel and power as a run blocker, and is capable of thriving in any run blocking scheme. His lack of strength can be a problem against stab and charge, bull rushers, and edge speed, but move inside would mitigate those concerns. If he could get his protection anchor sorted out, he has the run blocking talent to become an instant star in the tight slot like guard. And to be honest with you, I would like Skoronski right there. But to be honest with you, one guy who I think would definitely be a nice guy too, and I think the Bears will get this guy for Justin Fields if he's hanging around at number 9. Now remember, the Chicago Bears, they trade out the number 1 overall spot. I think they went a little bit too low in the first round. Instead of remaining the top 3, yellow in the top 5, they moved to the 10th overall spot by switching with the Carolina Panthers. Basically, they're going to be getting their 9th overall pick, and then plus they get the 61st overall pick in the second round, and then they get next year's first round pick from the Panthers and a second round pick the following year with DJ Moore. Now, DJ Moore seems to be the X factor in all this, where he could be a legit potential number 1 receiver. I mean, for the Bears with Justin Fields. I think that's a mistake what the Bears did, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, they're still in the first round. They're looking to maximize value. I still argue they should have. They could have made a deal on draft day. I think they could have got a little bit more value. I just feel like it was kind of rushed. But Paris Johnson, like I said, who I think could be a fit with the Bears, but the Steelers take him. He's an eventual plus star, graded at 6.39. He's a long athletic tackle, need of additional technique work, but processing the straights become a longtime star on the left side. Still needs to fill out his frame and should get stronger. He's much better as a move blocker than man blocker, but he can bridge that gap with more coaching. So those are 2 guys right there to address. I would probably say right now, if I were to choose, I'd probably go with Paris Johnson I would say that'd be the guy I'll stick with. I believe I said that in my last episode. I'll stick with him for right now if I'm gonna go tackle. Now, quarterbacks, these two choices. Uh, Christian Gonzalez of Oregon, he was great at 6.7, year one starter. Explosive outside cornerback processing of rare speed, of physical and athletic traits. He plays with fluid hips and blazing top end speed, which should help him match against top end targets in the future. He can rough up the release or use mirror match footwork from pass man coverage. He has all the tools to become a highly capable route shadow. Now, his technique will get away from him at times, and he doesn't play with the level of instincts or ball skills that should make heavy ball production automatic. Now, his testing numbers could send his draft skyrocketing, but the ingredients are already present to become a fear cornerback one if he plays to his gifts. Now, another one too, for the cornerbacks, we're hearing this name a lot coming up right now. Joey Porter Jr. And right now, Mike Florio tends to believe that he would be available for the Steelers should they decide to draft him. Basically, and you look at where the Steelers are set up in the draft. Once again, right now, given the fact the compensatory picks have been already set up, Steelers right now, by the way, who have 2 first round picks right now. They own the 32nd overall pick from the Bears. That'd be interesting to see if they could get him right there. But right now, according to Tankathon, they're looking at them getting a safety in Brian Branch and Cam Smith at corner 32, and then they tackle and wide receiver. Which is ludicrous in my opinion. And they have 7 picks this year for this year's draft. And for right now, I would definitely like Joey Porter Jr. To be honest with you. Now he's definitely got some work to do. But at the same time too, I'm not sure because even his dad admitted too that he needed to have just a little bit slightly better job what he was doing. But you look at a guy like Joey Porter Jr. who played 4 seasons at Penn State, and he's only had 1 interceptions in his 4 seasons. But he was able to have a career high in pass deflections, which jumped up 7 from his previous 2 seasons in his sophomore and junior year. He is a 6.43, which is basically a good starter within 2 years. For this team. And I would like to see right now because I don't know. Joey Porter Jr. would sound nice, but to be honest, I would not be surprised if that's their second pick right there. Will he be available with the Steelers' additional first round pick? He has the most physical reroutes in this year's draft. His hand usage helps cover when his feet are late, and his recovery of late swat away will be catches underneath, and he closes catch space when he's in his position. His weaknesses noticeable delay in transitions from pass and struggle to slide and match release quickness. There you have it. Now, before we wrap up real quickly, I wanted to go over this list right here. Andrew Fillipponi of 93.7 The Fan put out a list right here and how he ranked every Steelers first round pick ever in the Steelers draft history under Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert. And here's what he's got. He's got Kenny Pickett at number 1, followed by T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Marquise Pouncey, David DeCastro, Lawrence Timmons, Ryan Shazier at number 7, followed by Bud Dupree, Rashard Mendenhall, Terrell Evans, Najee Harris, Hood, Burns, Jones, and Bush. Devin Bush, that would be. And I will say this. I would swap Pickett with Castro, and I would have it go Watt, Hayward, Pouncey, DeCastro, then Pickett. And I just feel like right now, I mean, those guys have proven track records right there with the Pro Bowls and All Pros, especially TJ Watt. I mean, who's already a defensive player of the year, and both him and Hayward are the top or like leaders in franchise history of sacks. I believe Hayward has a slight edge, but Pouncey too. I mean, he's also tied with four others for the second most Pro Bowls with 9. And you talk about a guy like Franco Harris and company. I mean, basically, I mean, it's a pretty good, solid, legit list right there. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, the people he's tied with Jack Splat, Jack Lambert, Mike Webster, Franco Harris, and Ernie Stautner with 9 Pro Bowls. Mean Joe Green still holds the record with 10. So that would be my argument right there. But anyway, just to wrap up, what do you think? Lamar Jackson, is he still worth over $200 million? I mean, guaranteed or just paying wise. And people, like it or not, he's going to still be a reminder of the outlier the Cleveland Browns set that other owners would be hesitant to do to pay over $230 million fully guaranteed. What do you think? Will he be back with the Baltimore Ravens? Like I said, I do feel like he definitely deserves over $200 million fully guaranteed. I'm not sure about $230 million, especially with the injuries the last 2 years. To be dismissive of him missing his foul 6 games back-to-back seasons approximately, like to ignore that, I don't get it. I mean, he could still do a lot, but at the same time too, the big matter is, I mean, he has only one playoff victory. So I'll be interested to see if they be able to like shorten the deal right there, where they give him like a shorter contract. I mean, basically, I mean, where he will be satisfied. I mean, will it be a I don't know, like a 4 or 5 year deal? I mean, basically, I would probably just do 200 million. I'm not really sure with the schematics, but to be honest, here, I think he definitely deserves like around 45, 47 million annually. I mean, for the most part. I mean, when you look at it, and you just look at the quarterback market right there too. I mean, for average, I mean, Aaron Rodgers has the most at 50 million. That's Russell Wilson at 48.5. Then you got Kyler Murray at 46. So I think he's definitely better than Kyler Murray. I would definitely try and give him somewhere like around 47 million on average. And then what about Aaron Rodgers? And going to the New York Jets. Seems to be a matter of time. The more the Packers seem to keep winning, it seems to favor the Jets right there. Is it a shoo-in that this gets complete? We shall see. But anyway, like once again, leave me your thoughts, concerns. Again, you can follow me on social media on Twitter at MassSteelCGR and on Instagram MassSteelNation. Hope everybody had a great St. Patrick's Day weekend. I sure did. I was out in Minnesota visiting my sister. And also, real quick before I sign off, I want to pay a special shout out to Kathy Joe Blend, I believe it was. She was one of the moderators on Facebook, basically, who just passed away right there. And she passed away from stage 4 cancer. If you feel free, go check her out on Facebook. Kathy Joe Blend. She was one of the moderators for Steelers Nation and many other groups. Sweetheart of a lady. And I just want to send my condolences to her and her family, loved one, family, and friends. And just a sad loss. Make sure you ever cherish every moment. And as we go, here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Gone. Thank you for watching the Mass Steel podcast with your host, Charles Prodigy Richey, here on YouTube. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And for all the latest Mass Steel podcast episodes, feel free to download them on Mixcloud, Anchor.fm, and SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, you blink, I'll cut your eyelids off. Don't you blink. I got you. Let's go.